Hi everyone. So my name is Sarah and I'm the International Admissions Counselor at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. And so we're a four-year institution. So I'm going to try and keep my topic. I'm not going to talk much about my own university, but I'm going to keep it more general just to kind of give you some advice about helping you to find the right fit and trying to choose, right? Where do I want to go? So in the United States, we have over 4,000 universities and colleges, right? And it's like, how am I supposed to choose? How do I know? Is it based off of a website? Is it based off of where your friends are going? Is it based off of location or tuition costs? Or, maybe you had a recommendation from your Education USA advisor, right? So you have a lot of different factors going on helping to try to decide where you want to go study. And sometimes that can be a really overwhelming process, right? And just trying to sift through it all. So I would say one of the very first bits of advice I can give you is you're going to want to try to find a place that feels like home. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a place that really pushes you right outside your comfort zone, that helps you to become the best version of yourself. But then also, it's going to be a place that does feel like home, where that means it's cozy, it's comfortable, right? And you feel like you can be yourself. And so I know that can be hard to find, but when you're in your searching process and you kind of make your short list, you say, yep, these are going to be my 10 universities that I want to apply for. This is my 5 universities that I want to apply for. In that, when you look at the website, when you talk with the people from there, sometimes it's a feeling, right? It's kind of your instincts, it's your intuition, right? Trying to help you figure out what feels comfortable, what feels safe, what feels like the best adventure for you. So that's normally one of the best first pieces of advice that I give. So when it comes to four-year institutions, you're going to have a lot of variety. Much like Mr. Frank was saying, we are going to have STEM subjects. We're going to have liberal arts. We're going to have private universities. We're going to have public universities, right? And so there's just a lot of different factors that go into it, right? And when you're looking at different tuition price, I know Mr. Frank also talked about cost. And so sometimes, when you are comparing costs, you have to think, what value does the education have for me? What value am I willing to pay, right, for my education? And so sometimes, you can find universities where tuition might be, let's say, or tuition, or sorry, universities or colleges where tuition might be somewhere maybe $5,000 or $7,000, right? Sometimes it can be upward to $40,000, $50,000. Sometimes living or housing costs, right, can cost $8,000. And in bigger cities, sometimes it can cost up to $20,000 or $15,000, right? And so when you look at the overall cost, you can't just see, how much is tuition, how much is housing on its own. When you look at the overall cost, you need to compare, what am I actually paying for, and is that worth the value, right? So some things may look like a better deal. Some things may look like, oh, that's the best price here. Oh, I got the most scholarship for this place. But if you cross compare, it could cost you the exact same to go to two universities simply because of housing, or simply because of the extra fees you might have to pay as an international student. Or are your textbooks included, right? Textbooks can be very, very expensive. And a lot of times, universities might leave that out of how much is, included in cost of tuition, or what are those additional expenses that you'll incur. So I would just say, as you are planning to come study in the US, those are going to be things you're going to want to think about, right? You're coming to study, you're coming to research. Well, you kind of have to do that on the front end, right? To decide where you want to go. And part of that is being inquisitive and knowing the right questions to ask, which sometimes can be hard. If it's your first time going somewhere, if your first time going abroad, maybe you're the first person in your family wanting to go somewhere. And so it can be hard to know what are those right questions. So I would just say really be inquisitive and make sure you know what you're paying for, right? Where is your money going? Would you rather put it into housing costs? Would you rather put it into tuition? What are those fees going to be? Is there extra cost for textbooks, right? And how does that all play into the overall cost? So I would just say definitely make sure you keep that in mind. Location's obviously going to be a really big thing. Sometimes people have family in the US and say, yep, I want to go, to a certain city or to a certain state, which is awesome. Sometimes people are like, I have family in the US, but I want to go somewhere different, right? And the beautiful part about the US is we are so diverse, right? So you have so many different climates, so many different cultures all within the United States. And so it's really going to be up to you. What's the experience that you're looking for, right? As Mr. Frank mentioned, they don't have snow, right, in Florida. So up where I'm from in Wisconsin, we're nearby Canada on the northern side of the US, we are going to have snow. whether that excites you or you're like, there's no way I want snow, I'm heading to Florida, right? You are going to have the option to choose, right, where you want to go. And just remembering that those climates and the environment that you're surrounded with will impact, right? It will have an impact on your time in the United States. It'll impact the opportunities that you have, right? What you're exposed to, how near or far you are from other cities. Basically, the weather in the US can determine your activities, right? People are out playing beach volleyball in Florida right now, whereas here, right, we're picking pumpkins and apples from the orchards. And so it's going to be a different lifestyle, and it provides different opportunities for you to live your life in the United States. And so I would just say keep that in mind. Think about, I always tell my students, make your bucket list. What do you want to accomplish when you are here in the US as a student? Yes, you want to study, so that's obviously very important. But what else are you looking to get out of it? Do you want to take a photography class? Do you want to join the Spanish club, right? Do you want to join a specific language? Do you want to join the International Student Association? Have you always wanted to learn how to ice skate and play hockey? Or do you want to pick apples and, carve pumpkins for Halloween, which is really fun. So think about what are those cultural elements of the US that you're most looking forward to, and really prioritize and say, what is my main priority? Is the first thing going to be costing? Is the next thing going to be location? Or is location the most important thing to me, right? And then slowly you can rank, your universities and colleges based on what is important to you. And what's important to you may be very different than what's important to someone else, right? And so that's going to be really important to keep in mind is, before you start the process of searching and trying to figure out where you want to go, it really takes a lot of internalization, right? Or self-reflection to say, who am I? What do I want to study? What are my goals? What is my passion? And how do I want to use that passion to make the world a better place, right? And what university, what city, what state, what environment, right, is going to best allow me to thrive to be able to accomplish my goals. And so I think many universities, community colleges will all have a lot of different clubs, student organizations, everything like that. There will be there will be so many opportunities for you, right? But it's going to be up to you to make it happen. And so students will ask me, oh, how much money can I get in scholarship? Well, I say, well, it's really going to be up to you, right? How much effort are you putting in? How much time are you putting into, meet the professors and getting to know them so they can recommend you for such opportunities? Are you putting time into drafting the essay? Are you just, typing it up and submitting it? So there's going to be a lot of factors, and you'll learn a lot of the opportunities will come down to you. Things will be sitting there right in front of you, right? But it's going to be up to you to make it happen. And that all starts now with you being here today to learn about finding the right fit and to learning about, community colleges and four-year institutions and graduate institutions. And that's really the great first step that you can take is to educate yourself and to learn about it. And as I mentioned before, you're going to have so many choices. And so I was an international student. I'm from the United States and I studied in the UK. And I'm much like you, right? I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to make a decision based on a website, right? And so sometimes it does come down to a feeling and thinking, yep, I think this is a good choice. I feel like this is worth my time, worth my money. It can help me to get to where I want to be. So I would just say definitely, contact the admissions counselors, work with your Education USA office. And that'll be really important. They'll be able to provide you different scholarship opportunities. Which schools might have the best programs that you're interested in. If you're interested in playing sports, right? Is it Division I, Division II, Division III? Or do you want to play intramurals, which is going to be basically playing within the university people? So you'll have a lot of opportunities to pursue the passions that you have, but really it's going to be up to you to know what those are and then to be able to pursue them along the way. So I would just say in regards to four-year, yes, we accept transfer students, as Mr. Frank was saying, from community colleges, from technical colleges, so that'll be a really important thing. You don't always necessarily have to finish. Sometimes we have students transferring after 2 semesters, right? We do have students transferring after an associate degree as well too. So there'll be a lot of options depending on what your goals are, how much time you want to spend in the US. We also have what we call Cpt and Opt, right, as part of your visa regulations, which allow you to pursue an internship during your program and pursuing working in the United States for 1 year, for 3 years, depending on your subject, after you study, right, in the US. And then if you transfer on, right, to your bachelor's program, then transfer on to your graduate program. You're going to have a great time, and there'll always be options. And just know we here in admissions, at any university, any college, we're always here and happy to help answer any questions that you may have about the process. I would say don't feel shy, because there's going to be a lot of really important questions you're going to need to ask in order to make the decision that is best for you. So I would just say ask the questions. We never mind anything. We're always happy to help and support you in your dreams, into helping make the world a better place. So again, my name is Sarah. If you do have any specific questions about 4 years, I'm definitely here and happy to answer anything that you may have. Thank you.